Hello there, grade 11s. Welcome to Educate. This is Gauteng, June 2024. Question 7. It says that in the circuit diagram below, the EMF of the cell is 12 volts. The internal resistance of the cell is negligible. So this is one of the problems that doesn't require a knowledge of internal resistance. So now let's do an analysis on our circuit. We are given 12 volts here, and it is actually being measured by this voltmeter that is connected directly to the battery or to the cell. So we say that this is known as the total voltage. So in this case, the total voltage and the EMF is practically the same thing in this particular case. But when you learn of internal resistance, that's when you only know how to differentiate between them. So 7.1, before we do an analysis, we can just answer 7.1 because it's just a definition. So 7.1 says we should define, okay? We should define the term EMF. What is EMF? So according to grade 10, you might have heard that EMF is the voltage that is measured when the switch is open, but let's try not to use that definition. Let's rather say that the EMF, it is the maximum. Let's use the definition that says it is the maximum energy that can be provided by the battery, or that can be supplied by the battery per coulomb of charge, or you can say per unit charge. So you are trying to see how much energy can be supplied to the charges so that you can have some current there. So it's the maximum energy. The hint is saying that this is maximum energy. Don't just write it's the energy, because the energy provided by the battery is known as the voltage or the potential difference. But this type of potential difference known as the EMF, it is the what? It is the maximum energy. So the keyword here is maximum energy, and can be supplied per unit charge, or you can say per coulomb of charge. So now, before we calculate anything, let us do an analysis on our circuit. We start with the positive and negative terminals first. This is the negative terminal. This is the positive terminal. So this means that the current is flowing from this positive terminal. This is the total current. And then it flows into this emitter. So this emitter, remember, it's a tool that is used to measure current. It's just a low resistance tool that is used to measure current. So the current that is measured by this emitter, it is the total current. So this emitter, it is measuring the total current of this battery, basically. So in this case, the total current will pass through the emitter, and then it will flow. And when it reaches here at point B, you can see that it has got two ways to go. It can be splitted. So there is no open switch there, so it can be splitted. So when it reaches at point B, some of the current will be splitted, and it will go to these 2 4 ohms resistor. So this green current, it is going through these 2 4 ohms resistors, and then the remaining current will be splitted, and it will go to this other 4 ohms resistor, the one that is here downwards, and then it will combine again here. And when it combines again, it becomes back again, it becomes the total current, and it will enter through this resistor. It will exit, and it will eventually go back to the negative terminal, provided that switch S is closed. Okay, because current can only flow if the switch is closed there. So basically, resistor R is receiving the total current. So the current through resistor R here, it is the same thing as the total current, which is measured by this emitter, because basically we've already explained that here the current is flowing from positive, the total current, it hasn't been divided, right? It's the total current, and then it flows down here. But when it gets to this point, that's when it's splitted. Some of it goes there, the green one, some of it goes to this other 4 ohms resistor, and then that current will combine again, so it will become the total current again. So we highlight that part. So all of this part is receiving the total current, provided that this switch is closed. So now this actually forms our series part of the circuit. This one highlighted in yellow, we say is the series part of the circuit because the current has not divided then. Okay, the current that we find here, it is the same current as the one that we find here at the emitter and at all these points. I hope that's clear. I've made quite a couple of videos explaining this concept of splitting current. Okay, so now here we can now then proceed and try to answer the questions. It says calculate the total effective resistance between the points A and B. So you are given 2 points here, point A and point B. So here you've got point A here, and then you've got point B here. So you can see that as you are moving from point B to A, the current actually flows from point B to A because it's flowing from positive to negative, right? In that direction, it's flowing like this. So as we are moving from point B to point A, this is actually the parallel combination. So they are looking for the total effective resistance on resistors that are parallel to one another. So let's get this clear. Let's call this a resistor R1, this one. Let's call this resistor R2. Let's call this resistor R3. So from here, we can see that R1 and R2, they are connected in series to one another. So the 4 ohms resistor here, labeled R1, it is in series with this R2 resistor. Why do you say that they are in series? They are receiving the same current. Guys, try your best not to cram what does series refer to. Series simply means that they are receiving the same current. So in this case, R2 and R1, these 4 ohms resistors that we have here in the same line, they are receiving this green current, because this green current, it gets straight when it is splitted here at point B. This green current gets straight into the R2 resistor, and then the same current will come out and go straight to the R1 resistor. So they are receiving the same current. They're in the same line. They are all receiving the same current. So they are in series with one another. So here, the best way that I always recommend learners to do, once you have got 2 resistors that are in series, always combine them and form only one resistor. Always combine them, because if you're just going to use them as separate and say you've got R1 and R2, it's going to be very confusing for you. So let me combine them for you. So basically here, if we combine 4 and 4, we're going to get an 8 ohms resistor. So if we just restructure this, it's like we've got an 8 ohms resistor here, 8 ohms resistor. And then here we have got a 4 ohms resistor, the one that is at the bottom, this one, the 4 ohms resistor. And then this was our point B, and then this is our point A. Okay, it's not exactly the same, but basically it's how it's kind of look like. Okay, and then you've got resistor R there. So do you see that I've combined these 4 ohms, which is R1 and R2, to make 8 ohms resistor, to make things simpler for me? Because if I use this 4 ohms exactly as it is without considering the other one, it won't be correct. So here, for us to calculate the effective resistance, once we have got resistors that are connected in parallel, we can now say that on 7.2, the resistance across parallel resistors, it is combined in the following ways. 1 over R parallel is equals to 1 over the first resistor plus 1 over the second resistor. So it's 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. In substituting, this is 1 over the first resistor here, it will be 8 ohms, which is the combination of 4 and 4. So if you are going to say 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 using this first combination given in the diagram, it will be wrong. Okay, because these two are in series. You must combine them first and make them one resistor, which is 8 ohms. And this is plus 1 over 4 ohms. This is the other 4 ohms, which is R3. R3, it was just alone. There was nothing in series with it, so it didn't do anything. So this is 1 over R parallel. So now to calculate here, we're just going to do the combination of fractions. If we're adding fractions here, our denominator is going to be over 8, and then this is going to be 1 plus 2. So that's going to be 3 over 8. So 1 over R parallel is equals to 3 over 8. But here, we are not looking for 1 over R parallel. We are looking for R parallel, right? So we are supposed to actually switch the terms. So what was the numerator? It has to go up. It becomes the denominator. What was the denominator? It goes down. What was the denominator will go up and become a numerator. And what was the numerator will come back down and become a denominator. We do the same thing on the other side of our fraction. So the R parallel there, the actual answer R parallel will be equals to, here we are flipping 8. We put it on top. That will be 8 over 3. And then you punch that into the calculator so that at least you can write it in a decimal form. That is equals to 2,67 ohms. So it means that the sum of these two resistors, or the combination of these two resistors, it is going to give you 2,67 ohms or 2.67 ohms. So that's the combination. And then now they say Now, when switch S is closed, so now we are closing switch S, it means that we are allowing current to flow through the circuit. Now, the emitter reads 2.57 amperes. Remember, the emitter, we've already determined that it is measuring the total current of the circuit, okay? The total current of the circuit, it is the measurement of the emitter A. So here, if the statement is saying that the emitter A is reading 2.57 amperes, it means that the total current of the circuit is 2.57 amperes, because this emitter is measuring the total current. So here, this fact tells us that we have the total current of the circuit. So I will write it and say that the total current, I will say I total, will be equals to 2.57 amperes njalo. So this is amperes. So 2.57 amperes. That's the total current of the circuit. Now they say calculate the resistance of a resistor R. Cool. We have already said that resistor R is receiving the what? The total current. That's what we have analyzed at the first step. We say that resistor R is receiving the total current. So it means the current through this resistor R is the total current. We did an analysis on that. Please watch those videos and try to understand how the total current is made up. So now we know that the total current is 2.57 amperes. So we can just say we already know one thing about resistor R, 7.3.1. We already know that resistor R is getting a current which is equals to 2.57 amperes, which is the total current. That's the current through resistor R. So now here, what is our task here? They say we should find the resistance. So at least we should know the potential difference, okay? But here, do we actually know the potential difference, or can we actually know the potential difference? Think about it. Yes, we can. Look at how the potential difference is being shared or is being divided here. We're having the total potential difference or the total voltage as 12 volts. So we know that out of these 12 volts, we have got two parts of the circuit. This a series part highlighted in yellow, and it has got only one resistor, which is resistor R. So part of these 12 volts, it will go to resistor R. Another part of the 12 volts, it will go to this parallel combination. Remember that when it gets to this parallel combination, it will be the same voltage. So the voltage that will enter through this parallel combination plus the voltage that will be found here on resistor R, it will be what? It will be equals to 12 volts. That's the total. Because remember that this resistor R here, it is connected in series with this parallel combination. So this parallel combination plus the voltage of resistor R, their voltages, if we combine them, we should get 12 volts, right? And what do we know about this parallel combination? We know that this parallel combination, it is actually going to give us what? It is actually having a resistance of 2.67 ohms because we have combined it. It's like siyahlanganisa to become one resistor. So if we are combining this 4, 4, and 4, these ones, this trio, this parallel trio, we are getting 2.67 ohms. That's the resistance of the parallel combination, right? So knowing the resistance of the parallel combination, we also know the current that is going through it. So we can calculate the potential difference. So here, knowing that, we can come here and say that we know that this is the total current, right? This is the total current. So here, if we take the parallel resistance, we found out that it is 2.67 ohms. All right. So here we can actually calculate what is the voltage across this parallel combination, because we know that when we combine that voltage in the parallel combination plus the voltage in resistor R, the one that is in the series one, we must get the total one, which is 12 volts. So here we can use Ohm's law now and say that V will be equals to I times R. And then here we're looking for V parallel, right? So let's just say V parallel is equals to the current A that is going through this parallel combination. That's the total. All of it is getting into this combination is 2.57 amperes. 2.57 amperes, and the resistance of this parallel combination, we found out that it is 2.67. We calculated that previously. So here basically V parallel will be equals to, you punch into the calculator, 2.57 multiplied by 2.67. and then that is going to give you 6.86. So the voltage through there is 6.86 volts. So the voltage that is going through this parallel combination is 6.86 volts. And if we combine it with the voltage of resistor R, we can now say that we will get the total voltage. So we can just come here and kind of say that the voltage across the series combination plus the voltage across the parallel combination must give us the total voltage. So here the voltage across the series combination, we're talking about this one in R. Remember in our painted diagram, this voltage here, it was in R. So basically that's the voltage in the series combination. And that is the one that we're looking for, the voltage of R. So here this is the V series plus the voltage across the parallel combination. We calculated it. We got 6.86 volts. So we are going to say this is going to be 6.86 volts. And our total voltage there, it is 12. So now here, if we just kind of make a difference there, we are supposed to transpose the voltage across the series combination, the one that will enter into this resistor R. It will be 12 minus 6.86. And then that's going to be 12 minus 6.86. That's what you're going to get, 5.14. So we know that 5.14 volts, it is the voltage or the potential difference across resistor R. Now that we know the potential difference across resistor R, and we also know that resistor R is receiving the total current, which is 2.57 amperes, then we can be able to calculate the resistance R by saying that V is equals to I times R. And then here the voltage through it, we calculated it, we found that is 5.14 volts. And the current through it, which is the total current, is 2.57 amperes given the statement. We're looking for the resistance. So you divide both sides by 2.57, divide both sides by 2.57. This and this will cancel off, and a resistor R there will have 5.14 over 2.57, and then that is going to be 2 ohms, exactly 2 ohms. So resistor R is actually having a resistance of 2 ohms. There we go. And then calculate the potential difference over resistor R. We've already calculated it, so we can just write it down, because here we calculated it was 5.14 volts. So that is the potential difference across it. There's no need to hassle about it, because we already know that we have calculated. Once you show this in your calculation, automatically you don't have to repeat it, because you've already shown that in 7.3.1, the voltage across resistor R is equals to 5.14 volts. Then now they say a learner connects an emitter directly between the points A and B. So we are going to put an emitter here between point A and B. Between point A and B. So an emitter between point A and B. So our wire can be kind of slanted, but we are putting an emitter between point A and point B. Now they say, how will the power dissipated by the resistor R be affected? Choose from increase, decrease, or remain the same. Remember that a resistor R is receiving the total current. So here we are trying to look at what will happen to the to the power of a resistor R. So here, what happens when you are connecting an emitter? One thing that you should know about an emitter has got low resistance. So an emitter has got very low resistance. What does this mean? It means that it will actually short circuit this parallel combination. What does the term short circuit mean? It simply means that here, this current, remember, it was moving from the positive terminal. Here it was flowing from the positive terminal. When it gets to point B, the current, remember that it always decides to go in a path where there is less resistance. Okay, the current always goes to a path where there is less resistance. And here, this emitter has got very low resistance. So essentially, all the current will go through the emitter. It will not go to this resistor and this resistor and this resistor. We say it's known as a short circuit. So basically, if we've got a situation like this, let's just say we've got a situation like this. You've got a cell here and you've got a resistor, and then I decide to just connect a wire like this. let's say this resistor is 4 ohms. The moment I connect a wire like this, no current will go to the 4 ohms resistor. All the current will just flow here. All the current will just be flowing here in this wire here because there is no resistance there. So it's known as a short circuit. All right. So basically this emitter has got very low resistance. So it will short circuit this entire combination. So that's what you have to talk about. So here basically emitter explain that it has a low resistance. The emitter has low resistance. So this emitter has got low resistance, so it will actually short circuit. It will short circuit this. You can say it will short circuit, or you can use physics terms to explain it. What would you say? You would say that here the resistance decreases. So the total resistance decreases. So the total resistance decreases. Why is it decreasing here? Because basically, remember that here, the current is now flowing only through this low resistance emitter. It's no longer going to these other resistors. It has been short-circuited. So the total resistance decreases. Remember, when you are adding more things in parallel, basically the resistance, it will decrease. You know that? In parallel combination, when you add more components, the resistance will decrease. So here, the total resistance decreases. And since current and resistance, remember that they are inversely proportional, it means that here, when the total resistance decreases, what will happen to the total current? It will increase. So here, total current will increase because they're inversely proportional. Total current increases. Write the statement and say that because they are inversely proportional. Okay, they're inversely proportional. So total current will increase. And when total current increases, how will that affect the power that is being asked here? Remember that resistor R, we say that is receiving the what? The total current. And here we have said that the total current will do what? It will increase. So how is power and current related? You know that the equation exists that says P is equals to I squared times R. So power is equals to the current squared multiplied by R, the resistance. So basically the resistance here is remaining constant. It's just 2 ohms, but the current is the one that is changing. From this equation, we can see that power is directly proportional to current squared. So basically here, when the current increases, then eventually the power also increases. So basically here, the power of R will be affected in such a way that it increases. So the power increases. So your explanation, you have to mention first that we've got a low resistance emitter, which will decrease the total resistance of the circuit because now the current will no longer go to this 4 ohms and 4 ohms and 4 ohms because the current always wants to take a what? A shorter path. Like in this example, when current is flowing here, it will not be splitted here. Why won't it be splitted? Is because this side doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any resistance. So current will rather prefer to go to a place where there's absolutely no resistance. So this emitter will actually short circuit everything. It will short circuit these two resistors. So thank you so much, wonderful learners, for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends to also stay tuned.